Okay, this video is going to go through relatively quickly the notes on page 15 because we just demonstrated all this, and so we're just going to fill in the blanks. So the wrapper classes are this one, we have an integer and we have a double. So we're going to spend more time on the integer wrapper class, the double, then acts the exact same way. And so it's nothing really new. So we have integer and double wrapper classes. Wrapper classes are necessary because the show input dialog method statements always return strings, and strings cannot be used calculations. This is something you need to know and understand. That's the reason why we need wrapper classes. The integer wrapper class method is integer.parseInt, which we already demonstrated earlier. It converts numeric strings that look like numbers. It converts numeric strings to ints. So strings to ints. And so first of all, there's two methods that we gave. And so our first method is right here. The first method is we declare two versions of the same variable name, except for you put an str on one of them. Okay, so you do the same version, num1, but on one of them you put an str, and so that version you go a string version to store the user input. So this version will store a literal string, a numeric string. And then we have an int version to use in a calculation. So it's going to get converted and be stored as an int so that this is the variable or the memory location whose value we will use in the calculation. So here's the example. String num1 str, I forgot to capitalize this, is assigned japtionpane.showInputDialog enter integer. Okay, and we already did this in our practice. And then here is the next line is that the num1 str here is converted by the parseInt method, and it's going to be stored in num1. The num1 can now be used in a calculation, and then the num1 str can't because it's a string. All right, the second one that we're going to do is, our second example, is in this example we did in wrapper class B over here, is we did not use an str, so we declared one version. All right, so right there should say one version. And of a variable that you would like to use in the calculation. Convert the user input on the same line as is being assigned to the variable. So you convert on the same line as the one that's being used to assign the string. It's trying to assign the string to the variable, but you want to convert it on its way. All right, so here's the example. Again, we did all this already in wrapper class B. So those are the two methods. You have them on paper. You have an example so that when you have to write a program, you can refer back to this. But remember, always challenge yourself to try to do it from memory first and then go back and look at your notes. So again, these notes are good resources, but don't use them as a crutch for too long because you won't learn it as well. Now, the double wrapper class uses double with a capital D, double.parseInt. Oh man, I did this wrong. So this should say double.parseDouble. And it converts a numeric string to a double. All right, does it the exact same way. The only difference is you use double.parseDouble instead of double.parseInt, or integer.parseInt. Okay, the final thought. You don't need to convert if the numeric input will not be used in a calculation. We demonstrated that on last night's homework assignment. We did not do any conversion, and everything worked just fine. The reason? Because all of our numbers neither one of our numbers were used in a calculation. All right, that is it for wrapper classes.